First of all, do it again.
Like you're ready.
All right.
You're gonna break the table. You need one of those little things to do.
Okay. Thank you. President to call board meeting to order. Secretary confirms that all board members have been notified and notice was properly posted on the association property in advance of meeting information report.
Okay.
Yeah, Dawn, Rob.
Glad to hear you guys.
Yeah, here.
Speaker? Dawn, Robin, and Fiona are on one.
No speaker.
Do you have a microphone?
I don't know, in the office, I'm not sure, so. We will try to speak up, so.
It won't work.
Here.
Is that the boy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's over there. Is this one? Oh, it should, yeah, it should.
You know how to turn it on in the back.
Is it done? Okay, I'll turn all that on.
Oh, it's just not plugged in over here. All right, it's over here by me. I think it's the end of it. Go ahead.
Okay. Motion to approve Board of Directors meeting minutes from 10/24/24 as previously presented. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Oh, second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. All right.
We're working on it.
All right. Next motion is unfinished business. And consideration of updated rules and regulations. We have discussed these over the course of several months and meetings. So I am asking for a vote to approve the rules and regulations as provided. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve them as they are in the document.
I'll second.
All right. Got it?
All right, those all in favor, say row.
Hold it.
Aye. Oh, you got it?
Aye.
All right.
This is the time. This is the time that the people can give their input before the vote.
Can't vote on it until it's correct.
No, I have it in my hand. I got it finished plugging it in. I had to turn around and took that.
Laurel?
What?
I don't know how it goes. All right. I don't want to electrocute myself. Can you shut it off until I get it plugged in? And that way it won't make noise. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, the bottom one, I don't know. It beats me.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments on the rules and regulations?
I want to know, I got a set of rules and regulations back in August in my email. Is
Try to
that
tell me.
the
Yes.
same? That there's no adjustments, what I've seen in August is what we're approving today, or is there another set now?
Just one second. I'll try that. It's not.
The bottom one is
I
pretty
didn't get
good.
What did we add?
I didn't come to that meeting, but I didn't get an email. Can I get a copy of those rules and regulations?
What the big
Or
one?
in my email?
We'd have to talk to Jan about sending that on.
It will be sent after they've been adopted.
Yeah, it has to go out to everybody.
Once
Yep.
they're adopted,
So
they will
shouldn't we
be,
like be reading them before we approve them?
Well, it's the board that.
we've been doing this. for-
Okay.
So, yeah, they'll be mailed, whatever level of consent
Maybe
you
shut it
agree
off.
to, whether it's mail or electronic delivery, that's how you receive it.
Okay.
So, does anybody know electronics?
I don't know
And
what
wants
to
to
do.
go check
Yeah.
that horrible setup in the storage?
I've got
Not
it plugged in
where
here.
to go. It's open. That one is not in there, it's in that room. That's where. All right, any other questions about the rules and regulations, feedback? Please stand up and let us know which unit you're from.
On the parking situation that's in that pack, I park in my neighbor's parking spot because they're going most of the year, and I've got permission. Can I do that?
Yeah, if you have
Okay,
approval from
because
your
the way
neighbor.
that read, it sounded like you to park in your own
Yeah.
parking
That's
spot.
preferred.
Well, the way that the rules are written is that you are to park in your parking spot before you use an unmarked spot. You have the ability, if your neighbor is willing to let you use their spot, for you to park in their spot.
Okay, because they're never here,
Yeah.
and they gave, I've been
Yeah.
parking there for 20 years.
Yeah. If they've given you permission, that's fine. What we're
Okay.
trying to do is,
Yeah, I
The
understand.
numbered spots that are on, whether it's a carport or a spot, if you have a stickered vehicle and someone gives you permission to park there, they're not gonna tow unless that unit owner comes home and says that car doesn't belong there, tow it out.
They always tell me.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But you shouldn't be parking in a numbered spot that's not yours without permission from that owner, because you could be towed. But if they've given you permission, obviously they're not gonna report it and have you towed, so.
Okay, okay, thanks.
yep, please stand up and say who you are and which cluster you're from.
Mel Diego, cluster 6. So
Okay.
this parking deal we get going on, they come in every night looking for cars to tow.
Yep.
What are we paying them for that? I don't see it on the list.
We're not paying them
We
for
don't
that.
Really?
There's
So
no
they come in every
cost.
night just looking for people to tow?
We got it, Megan.
That's how it goes?
Yay.
That's how they make it.
Yep.
I don't like it. I didn't vote for that. I would vote that down and out today. I don't like it.
Nobody
I don't like them coming in.
That was voted by the previous board in what, March of 2023?
Yeah.
I propose we vote it out.
Well,
Right
that's
now,
not
we
on
get
the
the people to
table
vote it
for you.
out.
It
That's a
wasn't even
horrible.
the same vote, the same board.
Yeah. So,
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Can we put it on for next time?
Next time.
Next month?
Well, I mean, the board can discuss it, but it did address issues that were brought up then. I mean, that's why we got it, because we were having issues with parking, so.
we have received.
We have an issue still.
We have received a lot of feedback that they like it. A lot of the residents here like it because they felt that it has cleaned up the issues that we have here.
Who likes it? Yeah.
Well, I've been here,
I don't like it.
I've been here since '79.
I don't like it. My daughter came to spend the night and he towed her car out of my parking spot. I had to pay $270
My
to get
niece
it back.
too.
Even if the neighbor says you
Yeah.
park
We're not,
there.
this is not gonna be a free-for-all just to yell and whatnot. I'd like to set that up right now, okay? I understand you have concerns about it, but we have very clear rules about how it works. So if you are somehow not following those rules, that is what Comto is using. They are using our rules and regulations when they patrol the community. So it is something we can definitely open up for discussion, but for this evening, we have a relationship with Comto, and it is not part of what we're here to discuss.
Oh, really? Okay. I got it.
On the same subject, you have in our information for this month, who do you call? And one is vehicle towing. And that's what we should revert to. If we have a problem, we call the towing company.
Right.
Not to have them automatically come in looking for someone to tow.
Every night, rolling through here looking for people to tow. It's no good.
That's their job.
That's their
Yeah.
job.
That's their job, so.
Hi, I'm Austin. I've been towed plenty of times. I actually do like the towing though. Janet knows I've been towed 3 times. Really pissed me off. I don't think many of those are my fault, but I understand why the towing is here. I did just want to confirm that if it's an active sticker though, because we own 4 condos here. So if I go visit my grandma and park my 6350 car in 6070 spot, I will not get towed. Is that correct?
Correct. If you have,
Perfect.
if it's active, it's fine.
Okay, great.
But
I just want to make sure that that's crystal
If
clear,
it's
because again, we do.
inactive,
So
They are
Comto-
looking, we have had people who are using inactive stickers
Yep.
to get by the rule.
Get it.
And that is something that they're looking for because we have caught several people breaking the rules that way.
Let's go over it real quick so everybody has it. So you each have a numbered spot, again, carport or spot, whatever. You can allow anyone who has a sticker or an active sticker or a virtual permit that you get from me through the email to park in your spot. If they are just coming to visit for 1 to 3 nights, they need to park in a spot that is clearly marked visitor. If they're gonna be here longer than 3 nights, you need to reach out to me via email to get a virtual permit. Don't do it at 9 o'clock at night and let them park in your spot that night. I don't wait up till midnight to see if any of you need me to enter vehicles. And that sounds snarky, but that has happened before, which is why I'm bringing it up. So think regular business hours. If I can get them in after hours, I always do. I do it on the weekend if I can. But if somebody is coming to your unit just to visit and they do not have a sticker, they should park in visitor. If they're going to be there longer than 3 days, there's a list of stuff, and I can run through it: the make, the model, the color, the license plate number, and the license plate state, your unit number, and the dates that they will be there. And I can put in a virtual permit for up to 14 days. That permit is just like your sticker. They can park in your numbered spot. They can park in any of those blank spots that are not marked visitor. Visitor spots are simply for people who are here less than 3 nights, who have no sticker and no virtual permit. If you have a sticker and a virtual permit and you park in a visitor spot, you'll get towed. Those are for guests who are here 1 to 3 nights. As far as your spot goes, I get it. Like you said, your daughter's coming to visit, you want to let her park in your spot. If you haven't got with me and got a virtual permit, she can't park there or she'll get towed. So make sure you follow the rules. If they have no permit, if they have no virtual permit, visitor marked spot. If they have a permit or a visitor, a virtual permit, any unnumbered spot or your numbered spot, they can park in. So some are for those that have permits and some are for those that do not. And that's the simplest way I can relay the rules.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just wondering if you can hear me.
Yes. Though I just muted you because we're still on the floor here. We'll open Zoom in a minute for questions.
But that's not clear, because this guy who has 4 units says, I can park my car in one of my other units and I won't get towed. But if it's assigned to a specific car and a specific spot, if they come through and they say, hey, it has a sticker, but that's not the car that's supposed to be there.
We don't have them check that. That's exactly what this lady was asking.
And he has permission from his family members to
But how
park
does the
there.
tow company know that?
They're not checking that.
They're not-
They are
They're not
checking for
looking at it.
inactive stickers.
Right.
If it's in a numbered spot and it has a good sticker, they're not towing it.
But if you park in a spot with inactive sticker, it will be picked up.
Or your license plate is expired, you know, your registration. But if you come home, let's say it's your spot, you come home and somebody else is parked there
Yeah.
with a good sticker, and you let me know, I'm gonna have them towed. It doesn't matter if they have a good sticker, they can't just use anybody's numbered spot. You have to have permission to park in the numbered
Waiting for
spot.
connection. USB speaker.
Okay.
In the meeting when we were doing the rules and regulations, I talked about the front doors, and you told me to send the letters. There was like 10 front doors with all a bunch of stuff on them, and I asked if it could go in the rules and regulations. I don't see it on here.
I don't know, we didn't send out the new copy yet, and I don't know if we put that in or not, but we didn't send out a new copy.
Oh,
It had it in the rules.
so the one that came with the budget and everything is.
Oh, I did send it?
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice to me. I don't remember doing that, Susan, I'm sorry. I don't remember sending it, that's the one.
Okay.
So the board obviously decided not to put that in, didn't vote to put that in, but, you're talking about the stuff that's around the front?
Yeah, they put skateboards, shoes, fishing poles,
Yep.
the carts that have rollers,
We have,
bicycles.
you have a violation for that, so if we have a list of those, we can send those people, like that's in the violation process. There's already a rule in here about them keeping,
Yep.
their personal property in the common area, and so.
But the thing that we have a problem with is specifically in our cluster is that, you're talking about those are in the documents, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ours is like full of renters, so the renters don't get the documents. And I understand what we always say, well, the owners will tell them, but you know how it is.
Every renter that applies to live here gets an application to reside here, and this is included in the
That's
application.
what I'm saying, is it in here?
No.
It's included in the application when we
In-
actually
Oh,
apply.
in the application?
Yeah.
Is there any way?
No, these rules and regulations are in here, hang on, let me see.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Bicycles, skateboards, roller skates, and scooters, that's in here, let's see. Lanais and balconies, what you can store, absence from the unit, alterations, destruction, complaint procedure. No, I don't think so. You're talking about the common element area.
That's what you called it, yeah.
Yeah, the common element area. I don't see it, so, we'll have to make a note to do the, add the common element, add the common element piece to the rule, yeah. What? No, you can adopt these now, we just, because we're gonna do the other one you wanted, add the common element.
And I had also had I don't know if we ever came to an answer that I got, but the lanais that do not have screened-in lanais, you know, they have bicycles on them and things like that. I understand they don't have a screen or anything like that, but again, not, you know, they're putting storage boxes out there, and I never had that problem before, but we sold 10 units in our cluster, and they're all renters, and now all of a sudden, it's overwhelming.
Because right back to, we just did a moratorium on renters, and we tried, and cluster 2 was the only one that didn't pass.
I know.
Because we didn't get enough responses.
Okay.
Very
So
disappointing.
Yeah, we gotta watch.
All right.
All right, so, well, I need to open up Zoom for, if no one else is.
So, this is the second time I might not get an answer. If we're going on to the next thing. Good.
Well, the answer is it's not in the rules. It's in the declaration. They're not allowed to do it. You're asking us to include it in the rules so that the tenants get a copy of
Well, we're
it.
getting more overwhelming renters, so we have to address the renters. Because if we don't address the renters, then it's out of control.
Understood and heard. Yep, okay. Does anyone on Zoom have any questions you'd like to ask? You are on speaker in the room, and you are all muted. So if you have a question, please unmute yourself first. And thank you for waiting.
It's Petra of Cluster 4. I have a question about the parking rules. My family will come for 16 days, usually 16, 17 days for our vacation. So I understand that the virtual parking permit will be given for 14 days only. But I'm gonna stay for 16, 17 days. How do I park? Where do I park after 14 days? After the virtual permit has been expired?
You can just reach out and talk to me about it and let me know. If I have an end date, we could work that out because, and again, it depends on when they show up. By the time I answer you, they might have been a visitor for 2 days and now you only need it for 14 more. The board's willing to work with you if there's like a shorter visit like that, but when you get upwards of close to 30 days, you've got to do an application. So, it's kind of a little bit of leeway.
I'm the owner of the condo. Do I have to fill in an application if I stay longer than 2 weeks?
No, not the owner, the guests. Guests that are going to be there longer than 30 days have to fill out an application.
Yeah, this is all noted, but the parking, it's about me. So if I stay for 17 or 18 days, And if I get virtual permit, parking permit for 14 days only, so I'm wondering what I'm gonna do after 14 days.
Do you have a car registered on the property with a sticker on it?
Of course not, because I live in Europe. Usually I come for my vacation, I fly in, I rent a car here.
Oh, yeah, then just email me, if you're an owner that's gonna be here for 18, 20, 30 days, whatever, I can put that in for you, yeah, that's not a big deal.
And we also, over the summer, did a special accommodation to acknowledge the owners who do not have a car on the property. And we were providing tags for those owners, so you wouldn't have to worry about getting towed. And it would simply be in your condo for when you do arrive.
No, because she has tenants, we offered it for those, those unit owners who don't rent and just come back and forth. Yeah, but Petra, you can just email me, if you're the owner and you're gonna be here, I mean, it could be 35 days, it doesn't matter, you know, we can get your vehicle in there for that long. We're talking about guests, is who normally gets the virtual permit, so that 14-day rule would apply to all guests. But if you're an owner who doesn't have a permanent vehicle registered at your address and you need a longer virtual permit, you're welcome to it.
Okay, thank you.
What I would do though is if you have any tenant vehicles registered, I would make them inactive before I gave you, you know, a real long one like that, because otherwise I'd be giving you like a third vehicle on the property, and we have told owners they can't do that, so. Yeah, so I would just make them inactive and then give you as long as you need with your rental car.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I thought she meant yes, I'm sorry. Anybody else on Zoom have questions about the rules?
I have one quick question, even though that's not on the agenda tonight.
Is it on the rules?
Say that again?
We're doing the rules and regulations right now. Is your question about the rules?
Yes, it is about the rules.
Okay.
Okay, so on the towing, what time do they start looking? Because they towed my cleaner's car one time, and she was only there till 9 o'clock at night.
I think they mentioned that they start coming through around 8, but I don't know that it's a set time. It's static time. Static. It's variable. I believe they told us 8, right?
I thought it was clear, but.
I've never seen them here, so
They won't provide an actual schedule to us because they don't want people to navigate around the rules, which we've seen people do.
I can ask.
Obviously my cleaner only stays for like an hour to clean my condo when I leave it. But, of course, I paid the $220 for it because I felt awful. She comes to clean my house and her car gets towed, and I'm like, you're only there for an hour. Like, what time do they start coming around and checking? Like, I think that's important for us to know so we can let them know. But now I know, I told her, I said, well, just start parking in the visitor spot.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
That's the easiest way to handle it, so that's what she does now.
Okay. Yeah, I can ask, because that's a good information to have, but I don't know off the top of my head, but I do. Charlie, do you recall? I thought they said not before 8.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't recall either. I'll check for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Call for the question.
Yep.
Are there anybody else?
What's the last of the track last
I
time?
have a question. I'm in casino 38, my name is Kim. How do I get my name on the list to get invited to the Zoom and all this stuff that you guys are saying you're sending out? I bought the unit in July, been paying my HOA dues, but I haven't gotten anything.
Have you emailed me? Do I have your email, Kim?
I believe so. Are you Janet?
Yes, yes.
Yep, I'm sure I sent an email.
And
But I
what's-
can email you, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that you're on there, or see if there's something wrong with your email. We'll double check what's in the system first. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yep, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions on Zoom? All right. Okay,
All in favor?
so all in favor of adopting the rules and regulations? Pro?
Aye.
Aye, sorry, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. gonna table unit numbers and painting orders, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna table, unit numbers and painting work orders until December.
Need a motion or?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Thank you.
The hurricane items, do you guys wanna move that to the end and get into the budget so we can get?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, new business. Consideration of proposed 2025 operating budget with updated reserve schedule. Jana, do you want to just kind of start and kind of go over some of the history?
Yeah. Okay, so just for everyone who's listening, because I know some of the questions are gonna come up. The board was using, figures from, how long ago, Charlie, Nancy, do you remember the reserve study?
Oh.
I wanna say 15 years, something like that. Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long, long time, so the average, I think, was about 15,000 was going into reserves. The past couple of years, in particular in a few clusters, we have seen a lot of the buildings and the roofs break down, and every repair is just so costly. It's not, you know, when you have a roof leak, we have to call in the restoration company, we have to rebuild the unit, we have to get someone to fix the roof, and it's thousands of dollars. We've had some stucco issues, and it's to the point where you're exceeding your operating budget, and for the second year in a row, and it might be second year for some clusters, first for others, but we've had to special assess just to make up the deficit for the operating for the current year that we're in, because you're so overspent and there are no reserve funds. So the board's been talking about it, I've recommended it for several years to get an actual reserve study done to see what you need to be funding. And those figures came in. And they were, before we open the floor, give us a few minutes, but I will say this, everyone on the board, myself included, I'm not on the board as management, were shocked at the figures that came out. The budgets that were mailed to everyone are fully funded budgets with full reserves. That is a question that we've not been able to answer on your estoppels and questionnaires. They are fully funded moving forward. We know that those increases are up there. They were about, what, $400 or $600 higher than we got them down to. And the reason for that was because the roof ages. So Laura may go into a little more of this, but what happened was last year you all asked that you please get another insurance agent to look for policies for you. The board did that. We got a different agent who went out to shop for policies. When he went to shop, it was found that, and you all know last year we took the last resort citizens option that was given to the association. They were the only ones who would bid. They dropped you this year. They will not renew your policy. So the new agent went out to shop for you, not realizing that Citizens had dropped you and the age of the roofs, and was only able to get an offer of one policy for you. So in the master budget, which you all got, you will see that, where is it? Let me find it, I don't want to lie. That insurance cost, last year's $305 shocked everyone. This year is $447. It was the only policy available to you. There was no fallback. Like I said, even Citizens dropped you. They will not insure you for the age of the roof. The reserve studies came back with all the monies that you need to be funding for these items, and one of them was the roofs, and they want them done in 2025. So you can imagine when you have no money saved, or 10 or 15, or in like a cluster one, maybe 30,000 towards your roofs, and you need a couple $100,000 worth of roofs, you can imagine what that assessment was per unit for your cluster. So in going over this, and no, we did not meet in private, the treasurer and I met with 2 board members at a time, 2 other board members at a time. That is 3 board members and management, never a quorum, to discuss the reserve studies and how we could lower those monthly fees for the unit owners. And the board unanimously decided, though they're going to officially vote tonight, but we all unanimously decided that what we'll do is we will get all the roofs done this year, this coming year, 2025. We will take a loan out to do it, and that way, rather than assessing you all, I don't know, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, we can spread that out over a period of years for you. We will get all the roofs done. Next year, you will have more options with insurance companies, more will bid. You can get that down lower again, which is what we thought we'd be able to do this year. Some roofs are not ready for replacement yet. Some were just replaced, so they will be, of course, removed from that. The assessment will be per cluster based on what your cluster needs in roofs, okay? But you are one association, so we need to take one big loan for all of it, and then each cluster will be assessed their portion of it, and again, we will spread it out more than 1 year so that you're not all paying for brand new roofs in 1 year, which is what the reserve study recommended. So the figures that are here, and I know we're going to talk about them, and I know everyone is upset with the figures, those are several $100s lower than we started with because of the roof age. And to put it bluntly, you don't have a choice with the roofs, because if your current insurance, the new renewal insurance, chooses not to fund you, not to offer a policy next year due to the age of the roofs again, it won't be $447,000. It'll be you having to self-insure every building by banking that money in case there's an emergency. So we don't want to go to self-insurance ever. That would be like me saying my house is worth this much and I need to have this much in the bank to self-insure myself. So you don't want to go there. You want to have an insurance company with a deductible, but you do want more options, like was mentioned last year. You want to have more than one policy offered so you can take the lowest policy or take the best terms. And this is the second year in a row that you've been stuck with what you got. So I think I covered that, the insurance piece, fully. So these figures, I know everyone's going to want to open up and talk about these. So before we get into, and we will do these budgets, we'll try and stick to one at a time, I think. And that way, we're not jumping all around and maybe answering people erroneously because we're looking at the wrong budget. So I'd like to go through them, master 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that order, and let you who are cluster owners in that cluster ask your questions when we get to that budget, if you don't mind. That would be the easiest and clearest way for everyone here and on Zoom to do it. But we just wanted to let you know up front where those reserve figures came from, the official reserve study that we had done, and why the insurance went up again after we promised to get a new agent and try to get a lower deal for you. Even the agent, were all of you here when Anthony was here or online? He was so excited, and then he found out that even Citizens dropped you and the roof ages come into play. So we are where we are here, and
I do want to say something about the agent. We haven't opened it up quite yet, so I want to say something about the agent. He found out the existing agent that we have received notification, and he failed to tell us that this had happened. So he received notification how much earlier?
I don't know.
And Janet called him and asked, and he goes, "Oh, that's right, I've been meaning to call you." So we made a very good decision in dropping him and moving to who we got. So it had nothing to do with the agent, it had everything to do with the age and the condition of our roofs. And in the last newsletter, I laid out what each building value is. So cluster 5, for instance, each of their buildings are valued at $2.7 million. If we don't do the roofs and we lose insurance, cluster 5 has to come up with $2.75 million times 2 to cover the cost in case something happens. So that's the position that we're in, which is why we are looking so drastically at replacing the roofs and making fixes so we have more options.
yeah. And to be clear, before we get into the agenda tonight, these special assessments, which these figures are going to come down, the special assessments for the 3 or 4 clusters that are on here, and the budget, so the monies on the agenda, that is 2024 that we need now, and we'll talk about that when we get to them. The budget is next year's. I want to say very clearly so that there are no questions, in year 2025, there will be the start of a special assessment for roof replacements. I don't know yet what that looks like for everyone, how much, and over what period of time you will have to pay it. The board will decide once we get the final loan figures, roof figures, etc. There were some questions as to how many bids. At this point, we've asked 9 contractors. I'm sure you can imagine right now, they're not responding. We got 1 so far. We have seen some interest. A couple have been out here to look at the roofs, but they haven't produced their proposal yet. I'm sure they're busy with hurricane repairs. But the board is doing their due diligence to make sure that they have multiple bids before we decide on that. Once we have that figure, we're going to talk about, the loan and how far out we can spread it for you. This reserve schedule on each of these budgets shows the roof at 0 years, and you will start funding from 0 for the next 15 years. So that portion that's roof on here is just going to go in there each year, and when you hit the next time the roofs need to be done, you'll have the money. There will be no special assessment. You won't have to worry about it. It will already be in your reserves. You'll be fully funded. So that portion is there. The other thing that is the hurricane damages. We don't have a lot of figures. We're going to talk about some of the repairs that are necessary tonight. But it's safe to let everyone know that there will be an assessment to cover hurricane damages that don't get covered under the insurance quote. There's a lot of stuff damaged out there. Because of the way you're insured per building and stuff like that, you may not meet the deductibles. As a matter of fact, I don't think you're going to meet the deductibles on any except possibly one building, which means that all those repairs are out of pocket. So we're trying to be as careful as we can, but they have to be repaired. I don't have the figures on either of those, but I just want everyone to have a clear picture of going into 2025. There will be a hurricane assessment, and there will be a multi-year span roof assessment that will be done. So for tonight, and that's not going to answer your questions about hurricanes, and it's not going to answer your questions about the roofs. But for tonight, for this budget, neither the hurricane repairs nor the roofs being redone are included in it. So if you wouldn't mind, leave those questions out of it for now. We will get back to you as soon as we have those figures. The board's been able to review them. As soon as we get them, we'll get to you. We've only got, like I said, we only got 1 roof bid in so far. We've been working on it for over a month and a half. So for tonight, we're just going to look at these operating budgets with these fully funded reserve schedules. Having said that, do you guys want to start and go into the master and see if anybody has any questions? So everyone got a copy of the master budget. Laura, do you have anything you want to say about that? And see if anybody...
No, I mean, it makes sense.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the master budget? Austin does.
For the water, sorry, I'm just going from top to bottom, it's on the second page. The water, sewer, trash for the master, it was budgeted at, 85, or sorry, it was budgeted at 56, we went to 85. What was the drastic change in water?
Dawn, do you want to answer that, or did you not hear the question?
I heard.
I can't hear her, I'm sorry.
The treasurer. So to answer your question, Manatee County has increased the cost of water over the last 2 years, 3 years, by about 15%. But from a master perspective, your water, your sewer, your trash is all the dumpsters. That bill alone is $6,000 a month for the dumpsters. The water is the irrigation in the common areas and...
Stop doing that!
Please mute yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, Dawn.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Okay. And any water for, say, the pool or anything like that.
So if you break down your garbage, your water, sewer, whatnot, it's about $41. Your trash is $41. I can tell you, I pay $39 for a home here in New York. So to answer your question, a majority of it is the $6,000 a month for trash. Your additional for water.
And it went up 15%.
I have a
Just
question on
Manatee
that.
County alone went up 15%. And, you know, and another thing is to look at this, back 6 years ago, it was $52,000. It was in 2019, it was $52,500. So yes, it went up, but from the $90,000, this is roughly, you know, $42 a month per owner. And that's your water, your sewer, and your trash. So, from a breakdown perspective, I don't, you know, to be realistic, $42 for common area water, your trash, is not unreasonable.
Hey, Janet, I have a question.
Just a minute, who's this?
This is Liz Canola.
Okay, go ahead, Liz.
I noticed that there's an individual cluster budget